don't have any sound on the DVD.
Yeah. Joe's going to talk about this piece first.
This is putting epoxy and
Here, Joe.
glitter in there. And it's only going to take a second. Can you hear me?
It's not going on that. It's going on the DVD.
It's going on the DVD. It's going on the DVD. Don't have to worry about them hearing you. You need that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This here, I went ahead and I had a piece of maple. I think I got it from the Academy. I'm not positive, but it had a lot of deep grooves in there, a lot of deep cracks, and probably be good for firewood. But I thought with this demonstration, this might be a good time to do a demo on it. So I put epoxy in there, put gold glitter in there, which I'm going to show you later. But what I did is I went ahead and did this portion. By the way, this was about a 4-inch by 7-inch piece of wood with a lot of cracks in it. So I filled it up with epoxy and gold glitter, and I went and finished this piece. This is going to be a weed pot, and I left this the way it was, in other words, so you can see how deep the crack is. The cracks, I should say, is more than one. And this here, I filled it up, and you overfill it so you can go ahead and then take it on the lathe and do your normal turning. So I just wanted to show you, pass this around so you can see. And this was I'd say a very dangerous piece of wood to turn, except I did put epoxy in here before I put my tenon on there.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, he used the epoxy to fill. We're going to talk about a commercial product called Inlay. I'm sure most of you have heard of this. I need both hands here. You can buy it in different crushed stone, lead, turquoise, whatever. It consists of a can of the Inlay resin, I guess you'd call it, and then a hardener. And it's exactly like an epoxy. Okay? This is an expensive product for what you get out of it. It doesn't last a lot. The shelf life is not real great. This is 6 months old, and I can make a hand grenade out of it. It's solid, and it's only been opened once. Okay? Yes.
Is the shelf life short if it's unopened?
I opened it, but I don't know. It came to me. I don't know how long they had it on the shelf. But once you open it, you dang near have to use it. Okay, and I tried refrigerating it like you do your CA glue, and that didn't help. But this literally is a solid piece of material now. You accomplish the exact same thing by using a 2-part epoxy, 5-minute, 15-minute, or 20-minute. I see no different whatsoever. The one thing about Inlay, and I'm going to go to this chart, if this is, in this piece, if we wanted to put Inlay on here, like I did here, this is an Inlay in there, copper Inlay. Okay? The first couple times I used it, I made a straight cut, in the wood. I did not put the dovetail in there. It will come out. If the wood expands and contracts, and all wood's going to expand and contract, it will loosen up. Okay? I've done maybe 200 pieces of this, and once I did the dovetail, it holds a lot better. Okay, and that's just by undercutting, with your tool when you make the groove. All right, very important. Okay, that goes for the Inlays. CA glue, we're going to talk about next, and we all know what that is. This I just did yesterday with CA glue to hold the pieces in there, and then I will put on top of that this clear 2-part. And this is what they do bar tops with, and tabletops, and all that. The CA glue when it hardens, it has a color to it, so it would block anything out that was underneath of it. In this piece, I really like the shells exposed, so I'm not going to fill it. completely. But if I was filling it completely, I would use this and just use a CA glue to hold them in place. If you use this product, Super Glaze, or this, either one, they're two-part epoxies, 50-50. But when you sit your product, the particle you want to decorate within it, it moves. As you pour, it flattens itself out to a level. It will carry with it whatever you have in that groove. So they would be all jammed together. So what I do is I use a CA glue, thick CA glue on the bottom, and touch the piece on the bottom and stick it down. And that's why you see it's in there now. Okay? They're the two things that I do with that. This filler here is CA glue with, you know, the natural bark left on it, which I think is very pretty. I like this kind of product better than I do a plain bowl. I like the knots and the dings and the pings and all that. This was done with the turquoise stone that you can buy from the Inlay's people, or any place really, just mixed with CA glue. And what I do, you cannot mix the CA glue in a cup and pour this in. It will harden like a rock before you get it in this hole. Okay? So what you do is you pour the turquoise or whatever you're using as a filler and put the thin CA glue on top of it. And that seals it. And then you can come back with the medium or the thick. Alright? Truthfully, it will, before you can get it in the hole, it's not going to work. Alright. Two-part epoxy. Again, you know, I'm using most of the time a 5-minute. You can buy a 15-minute. I think there's even a 12-hour epoxy, I think it is. It takes forever to settle. But with all those products, you can use sawdust from the wood you've just been working on, so it matches up with the grain. I save most of you have seen my vacuum system downstairs. It has a separate compartment for the fine dust. So if I know I need to collect some dust, I will go down and vacuum that out and sand the living heck out of the piece of wood, the same wood. If it's walnut or maple, whatever it is, go down and pick it out of the, you know, the separate compartment and then bag it. And it's all marked. Okay? If you don't want to do, and the wood really does fill the grain. You can buy copper powder. This is bloodwood. I mean, it's unlimited. This is the metal inlay. You can feel that's truly the metal. I will say that if you're using the metal or the copper, you don't want to inhale it. You know, you don't want to be, you know, it's nasty to work with, is what I'm saying. Okay. Then Joe's going to show you some other stuff he used for the glitter. And that gives you an idea of all these products. There's a new product, and since we didn't have a new product from Larry tonight, I'm going to be introducing one here. I don't know if you've ever heard of this or not. It's Milliput. It's an English product. It's a two-part polymer clay epoxy. So what you do is, it's, you know, soft now. You cut off equal portions, mix them together. Wear rubber gloves when you do. A little water on your rubber gloves. They will mix together and they really do fill nicely. It comes in a terracotta, it comes in black, it comes in white, and a blue and a green. I just ordered this last week and I put one piece in about, I guess, well, actually 2 weeks ago. I did a piece a week ago, and a lady came to the house and bought the dang thing. So, but it was, what I did is I cut the edges and I put black and white all the way around it, so it looked like a zebra type thing. And she's into African continent, and that she thought that was an African image, so that's what it was. Okay, in all this product, in the epoxy and all, you can also do your dyes. Okay, either one, you know, whatever you want, and it will color it, and it really does color the wood good. All right. So Joe, if you want to go to the next step about the wire burning. Yeah. And you can use that piece of wood fork?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll take it off.
Okay, I guess this is good. Let's see. I made a tool handle. I want to show you some, you can do some decorative burning on it. I think we got to plug it in. Okay. Yeah, I'll get it. Okay. All right. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of, I do need that. Didn't think I'd need this, but I guess I do. Okay, a lot of your tool handles you see, whenever you make them, you made these here little grooves here, and you can actually burn with them with wire. And the first thing you want to do, that's not right. Must be the other hole. Yeah. First thing you like to do is position where you want the grooves. So we're going to make, I'm going to make 5 grooves in this. I'm going to put one there with the pencil mark, put one there, and we'll put one there. We'll put 2 here. Now, you can go ahead and you want to go ahead and put your wire on here to burn it. But if you put it on right now, it could skate. So what you want to do is take your skew, long point down, and just give a little bit of a indentation in there. Wrist. Okay, I've got this going to, well, I guess it's about 3,200. Now, what I use is piano wire. It's about 15 thousandths, and we're going to go right here. And you want to do is get this at high speed and pull it till it burns. In the same way with the other one. And if you wanted to make it a little thicker, I guess you can use different wires, but I happen to have a safety wire, which is about 32 thousandths. Just keep it going there until she just starts burning. Do you have any really fine sandpaper? Yep. Or anything else?
1,500.
Okay, that'd be good. Now what you'll have is ridges here, so all you want to do is just knock the ridges off.
One thing you want to make sure that you do, or don't do rather, is don't, when you get through burning, pick it up like this.
Yeah, it's very hot.
It will blister you, and so that's why he and I both made our own handles.
Yeah, Just make
It'll
it.
definitely transfer all the way down this wire.
You don't want to hold on to the wire. Okay. Just make yourself a little handle and just twist it on there.
Is it safer than wrapping around your finger?
I think
Yes,
so.
don't
We'll
wrap it
let you.
around.
Yes.
Or any other appendage.
Yeah, you can pass that
You
around.
can avoid the wire if you go down to Lowe's or Home Depot, and in the kitchen department, they've got an entire wall of little Formica samples. Just take a couple of those Formica samples, turn them, make your little groove, turn them sideways, and press them in there. They will burn the same thing. So don't get hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that's a good thing. That reminds me, I'm gonna just throw in something here real quick. If you need any Formica, I have a lot of pieces. They're just pieces like this. I have them all over my shop, or up top of my shop. They're just cut-offs from different things. So if you ever really need pieces that are, you know, they're not real big pieces, but you're welcome to have them. Okay, Bob, I'm gonna go ahead and do your thing. Or do you want me to go on?
Well, I can do. Let me do the sandpaper.
Okay.
All right.
What the heck?
Knock that out.
Yeah, there it is. I was looking for this. Okay.
Sorry for all this confusion. Pick your pocket.
Good. You're good at it.
When we did our class with Bob Roseanne, he was kind enough to bring along some ebony wood for the black tops. And as you know, it's got awful expensive. All right. I accomplished basically a similar thing by using sandpaper and burning the tops. Okay, and those are two examples of that. I just burned the edge of the top. And this one, I burned just the rim. Okay, all done with sandpaper. Okay. This one is burned, okay, with just sandpaper. Okay. That one's burned with just sandpaper. Okay. And then, you know, obviously finished. All right. If you sandpaper like I do and start with, you know, hopefully you can start with 180 or 240 if you've gotten a good smooth cut. All right.
Bonnie, hand me that wheat pot that I was making. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. This is already sanded down to 1200, this little crown. So let's assume we want to make that crown black. You got to get it up real high just like you did with a wire. And you hold it on here. It's going to make a liar out of me. There it goes. Okay. All right. That gets you the rim. And the longer you hold it, the more you burn it, the darker it's going to get. And it takes a while sometimes.
And it's, you say, what grit is that?
1500. And I will tell you that we're finding out hard maple, if you cut it with a table saw, you get the burns. You do this with hard maple, and for some reason it doesn't burn as well. And this is a piece of maple, but I'm just showing the edge. So all you're going to do is keep doing that. As you can see, the paper burns. And you just keep bringing it up to the top. And you can use, this is what I use my old sandpaper for, that I've already sanded most of the grit out of. So that's going to keep getting darker and darker as you go. And it's just a highlight feature. You know, it really just gets you, you know, something different than what you've done before.
Would a coarser grit go faster or darker?
It actually sands itself off. I brought along, for an example, this is 1200. And I usually run it higher than what this is. Okay. So 12 and 15, you're going to get the same thing. If I use 60 grit, it literally takes the wood off. I'm not really removing any wood with this. You know, I'm just burning it. So you don't want to remove wood once you got the finial the way you want it shaped. So, okay. And different woods work differently. If I'm doing a finial like this, I'll use poplar or a softwood. All right, just to get it. Okay. All right, that's the sanding, the burning sandpaper. Joe, you already talked about hiding cracks, right? But you want to go over that again, show them how you're going to do that? He's going to
let's see hiding cracks. Well, let's just go over this here bowl. Okay.
Need to speak about.
Yep.
Need to speak into the speaker. Okay, I'm getting the hiding cracks, but first off, I'm going to tell you about this bowl here. I turned this bowl, it's made out of a maple, and there was a big crack in here. And you know, sometimes cracks are good, but in this position, this situation, it wasn't. So what I did is I put some super glue in there and coffee grounds. You can use, like I said, sawdust, coffee grounds, whatever, looks good. Now that might look good to some people once I finish it, but also on the inside, I thought it was a little dark, but on the inside then, what I did is I had some lighter sawdust. So on the inside, I did the same thing. Like I said, you use charcoal, by the way, you coffee grounds. As like I said, inside here though, and I'm not sure what kind of wood I had, but it blended in more with this type of imperfections that was all through the bowl. But it was well, you'll see it there, it was a pretty nice sized crack. To hide cracks, hate to get anything on this ways here. So, okay. And if anybody wants to chime in on how they hide cracks, appreciate it. You guys probably, a lot of you do the same as what I'm going to be doing. What I like to do is go ahead and say, like for these knots, this is a bow here I'm going to return, but before I do that, it's got a knot here and a knot there. The first thing I'm going to do is put thin CA glue on here, and that way the knot, let's hope, will not come out whenever you're turning. I'm going to take some sandpaper and just bring that in. And same way at this side. Let it go down in. It's the thin stuff, and then I'm going to shoot it with Accelerator. Then what I'm going to do is take, this happens to be 80 grit. If it was a small crack, I'd do 220, whatever. And I'm going to make some sawdust in there. Now with that, I'm going to go ahead and take some glue. This is medium. And I'm going to, because it can stain your wood too. Of course, this is good whenever it's whenever you're turning it. And we're going to hope it goes down in far enough. I'd probably take more of my time to do that if I was home without doing a demonstration here. And I'm going to do the same here. Just build it up. I think I'll use some thin on this one. And that'll give you an idea of what you can do with cracks. Now this, you'll see, I don't think it really looks right, but what I do is maybe use some charcoal where it's darker in there. You use, like I said, coffee grounds, but you could also look at it after you turn it. Matter of fact, it might not show up like this after you turn it, whenever you're, in other words, returning the bowl. Let's see, Bob, did we say, no, it's all right. I'm done with cracks. Are you want me to go on, or you got, okay. Now yep, I've got it here. Let me get reset up.
What he was doing when he was sanding generating the sawdust is the same thing I'm doing by capturing the sawdust and pouring it in. This to me is a little faster. And,
yeah, if you're, I think it's a little faster if you're having a big crack. If it's a real small cracks,
if it's a hairline crack,
you just sand them. Yeah.
This stuff is thicker than the sandpaper you're going to generate. Anybody have any questions while he's getting ready for the next show? Any questions or comments? Once again, this is something everybody in here probably has a different way of doing it. So,
yeah.
There's every other way of doing it.
If you guys got your way, let me know. I'm always looking.
Two-part putty type epoxy. There's a company called Mohawk, and it's in a single stack. The resins or the hardness in the middle, the colored resins on the outside, and they have probably 15, 18 colors available in there. Use a lot of it.
Works well.
It works very well. But there are many available colors.
Yeah, these people just limit me to about 5 colors.
Yeah, I'm going to use some epoxy, just show you how it's done, and put in this here, in this big crack I have here. Now, with this filler, what I did is I made myself a bell here. That's, I don't know if you guys seen these or not. It's my ring holders. They go very well. Women really like them. This is out of a piece of holly. And what I did is when I turned it, before I got it down here, I got it down to the size, I went ahead and got a thin parting tool and went down in there about a 1/16 or something like that. Now I didn't do what Bob did as far as that, what do you call that? Dovetailing. Yeah, I didn't do that. I just went straight in. Maybe it would be best to dovetail. I really don't know.
Tough to do with that size.
Yeah, well it is. It is. And then I put epoxy in there. And what is this, Bob? Just a blue glitter?
Yeah, it's just a glitter you can buy.
Yeah.
Maybe a combination in the book. But it's from Inlay, sells all this stuff. There's purple, and I basically use these on Christmas ornaments. Otherwise, they don't, dare jump out of the box because I think it's gaudy as you know what. But when I'm doing the show, people want crazy colors and Christmas tree ornaments.
When I was finishing this up though, I found that it became real dull. So I went through my sanding grit. I guess I went down to 12,000 or something like that, and it was still dull. I used a friction polish on it. Yeah, it was still it was okay. But once I polished it with the Beal system, in the same way with this, once I did the Beal system, buffed it out, it really come out nice. You can pass that around. Okay, let's see here. What you want is a cup.
One thing with the inlays and the epoxy and all these fillers we're using, except this Millie put, you got it. If he's doing something in the round like that, this stuff runs. So you either got to keep rotating to keep it in that line, or you got to do a flat surface like I did on that candle hole. It really, the Inlay's product itself is a lot runnier than your 2-part epoxies.
Yeah, that's why I got the 5-minute, because it does run, but you keep at it, keep fooling around. Now I don't know, you guys I guess all did epoxy, 2-part epoxy, but I have it different than Bob. Just pour it in there, what you think you need. It comes in you need 2 parts there. Oop, there we go. Bring this back so there's a little air in there. Wipe this off. Put your cap on. And then you want to mix it up. Now I read one instruction you're supposed to mix this for 20 seconds. I don't know how true it is, but you just mix it? No, okay, good. And just add a little bit of your glitter in there. And you can use any kind of glitter. By the way, I bought this glitter at Hobby Lobby. They got all kinds. I call it glitter. It's extra fine glitter. Yellow gold, they call it. And then you can just go ahead and just put it right in. Like I said, it's running. It'll go down in there. Make sure it's down in there. Who was it, Larry? You were saying it was hard, but you had small holes, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what you would do with that. But with this big stuff, you just go ahead and you keep on, make sure it's down in there. Because if not, you will get air in there. And of course you want to build it up. And like Bob said, it sure is runny, so you can only do one side at a time. And you overfill it, because just remember, you're going to be taking it back off.
Plus it will shrink if you don't overfill.
Yeah, I guess it will, yeah. That's why I use the 5-minute, it sets up. But, unless you guys have done this before, but I let it sit for 24 hours. Right, Bob, you do?
Yeah, I do too.
Does anybody else, did you ever turn it before? Nobody else? I'm just curious. It's kind of soft and it kind of looks like you could, but you know. Now this is running out, so the best thing to do is to take a piece of tape, which I don't have, and just put a piece of tape there, and then that'll hold that in. Kind of messy. That's it for that portion. And like I said, you just go ahead, you turn it normally, you sand it normally, and you finish normally. I want to get this off of here before I get it on my...
Need some tape?
Nope. Oh, yeah, you got some tape? What the heck?
Above your head. Your tape?
Just put it on there, Bob. It's all right. I'll be taking a chisel, wood chisel, and cleaning that up then, thanks. Oh, that's good, yeah, thanks. And I would put a piece of cardboard. I got a piece of Formica I always put down on my ways there so it doesn't mess it up anytime I put a finish when I'm working on a lathe, or super glue or epoxy. You want to use the lathe? No. Okay. Yep. Oh, by the way, when this dries, I know Bob, he gets a ton of these things, but when this dries, it's like, what do you call it? Coffee scoop. Comes in coffee. When this dries, I just scrape it out there and I can reuse it.
McDonald's is very generous. Buy your hamburger, grab some of the ketchup holders, they work forever. Don't tell McDonald's I told you. Okay. I need to.
Yeah, you do.
Good, that McDonald's comment wasn't recorded then, right? Okay. I guess the last thing we're going to talk about is letting the wood keep its own, blemishes. I personally like, obviously you can tell, I think it makes it more decorative. It certainly makes it more interesting to turn. It's just what I like. This is just basically a piece of oak that I drilled holes in and went out in the yard and got some limbs and cut the limbs and turned those to the size hole that I cut in the wood. Okay, as you can see from there. And it comes up with all kinds of little crazy designs. That's not necessarily a filler, but it's one way of decorating the wood that makes it a little bit fancier. When I was turning this piece, I turned the bottom and I got too thin, which no one else has ever done that, I'm sure. And I went like this, and it was given with a thumb. So I went back and I cut a star out, 33 1/3 degrees, and just superimposed that in there. And then I like the idea of it being the hump so it stands out. And this has been a wall hanging in my daughter's den. But you can see that that's one way of doing it. Okay.
I have one more thing.
All right. Yeah, no, I got one. If you are doing things that you want to leave natural, and the cracks and whatever, if you're turning green wood, which I turn very little of, and it cracks like Joe's piece did there. The symposium in Central Florida that I go to every winter, there's a retired cardiologist who belongs to the Tampa Club, by the way.
Tri-County?
Yeah.
Tri-County's the one I like.
Right. He's a retired cardiologist and he turns nothing but green wood. He had a vase about this tall that had a crack in it the day before, 2 days before. And it was a good sized crack. And he photographed it and then brought it to the symposium and said, okay, now where's the crack? I mean, you could see a little discoloration. He takes the green wood, if it has a crack in it, when he's turning, it gets to a point that he feels unsafe. He takes a 5-gallon bucket of water and sits it in there overnight. The wood will suck the water up and close that crack up. I truly did not believe that it would do that, but he had photographs showing that. And then when he takes it out of the water, he puts crazy glue inside and outside the crack and lets it dry. Back to, 12% to 14%. It never opens back up. I was amazed. I mean, some of the cracks, you literally could have put your fingers between them. I would just make a piece of firewood out of it, but yeah, it was his choice. Okay. All right, that pretty much takes care of that. Any questions on what we've covered so far? Any comments? Any suggestions on another way of doing it? Yes?
How do you put that dye on? Do you just use a piece of cloth or?
No, I put it in the, when I got the epoxy mixed, I use an eyedropper and drop it in and stir it till I get to the color I want.
And then how do you put it on the wood?
I use a palette knife. Okay, you can get these at any art supply store. This thing's probably as old as I am. I found it at a junkyard type sale. And, it's really flexible, and if you leave epoxy on too long, take a putty scraper and knock it off. You can pass that around. It's really thin, and it really works well. But I use scrap wood just to mix it up, or tongue depressors, or popsicle sticks. A lot of times I use toothpicks because I'm not mixing that much of it. I don't know how, one of these has just a little bit of whatever. One thing I did want to show you on this is if you hold this up to the light, you'll see there's a crack right here because the wood, obviously the stuff in the yard is green wood. What I do is I let this sit, or I put it in a microwave, and when the crack shows up, I then go back in and fill it with my powder and then return it or sand it. I do not sell these the year I make them. I sell them a year later because I don't want, obviously they're going to crack. I mean, there's no way to prevent green wood when you're putting it in dry wood. It's not going to expand and contract. Okay, so when I do these, it's a year-long process. So if you're going to try that, don't be disappointed if you get some cracks. Okay, Joe?
There's a couple of things I failed to mention. I fill in cracks, with this gold leaf.
Yeah.
Like I said, I failed to mention, I filled in cracks with this gold leaf. But you can go ahead, you could carve, you could take a Dremel tool and do whatever. Do any of you carve? You could carve in there, and you could actually take a Forstner bit and just drill some holes around here for a decorative piece and fill that up. There's a number of things you can do with it. It's up to your, use your imagination. Now, one last thing that I have is gold leaf. I don't have any, there's not enough time to cover gold leaf. We were talking about artist work, so I just made this. Larry, you made one of these. Who did this? Showed us on DVD? Yeah, who showed us on the DVD? No. It'll come to.
Disregard. Jimmy Clues.
Jimmy Clues, that's who it was. Yeah. Anyway, it's just a decorative art form, if you want to call it that. He put gold leaf in the middle. You can put silver leaf. You've done this before, Larry. I know you have. But with gold leaf, you can go to Hobby Lobby, and there's a gold leaf kit, and it tells you how to do it. You go ahead and you put of course, you sand it smooth. You carve it out. Well, actually, you turn it out on the lathe, and then you go ahead and you can put a base coat on here, and then there's an adhesive. And then you put your gold leaf. It comes in sheets. There's copper, there's silver. I'm not sure of how many different types there are. You go ahead and then after you do this, you put a sealer on it. So it's kind of a neat thing. I just thought I'd let you know that if you wanted to pass that around too. But so that's about it that I have.
Any other comments or questions? All righty.